Welcome to Thought Leadership Thursday with MECATHERM. On Thought Leadership Thursday, I will bring you thought leadership from the baking industry. And if you listen closely enough, you might encounter new ideas that will help you hack your growth. Remember, your company is as good as its people. So I hope you learned today from this leader and thought leader, and ask some more questions if you want. So as a sponsor, MECATHERM has always made their team accessible to BAKERpedia. When it comes to a piece of knowledge or the ability of an equipment, I am accessible to a number of people on their team, which impresses me because it really shows the versatility and the team spirit that each and every one of them have, right? So each and every one of the team members are totally passionate about the baking equipment that they sell. And for a 50-year-old company that's global, it's pretty impressive. So I am so thrilled today to interview Olivier Sargent, the CEO of MECATHERM. Welcome, Olivier.
Thank you very much, Liz. Welcome.
So, Olivier, can you say a little bit more about what is MECATHERM and what do you do?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much for your kind introduction, Liz. We are a French company hiring 400 passionate people and dedicated to manufacturing of baking systems. We are exporting our production in more than 80 countries on the 5 continents. And historically, MECATHERM was focusing on baguettes, normal, as a French manufacturer. But nowadays, we are covering a much wider range of products. We have a subsidiary in America. We have a sales office in Mexico, one in Kuala Lumpur. And if I want to summarize our mission that we decided to write between ourselves, is to try to simplify the life of our customers inside their factory. This is what we do.
So basically, you are making all the equipment from the processing to the baking, so from baking to baking ovens.
Yes, not all of the equipment. Basically, the core business is ovens, and obviously proofer, cooler, freezer, pan handling systems, and for some products, the makeup line. But I would like to, if I want to explain our scope of supply, basically, we sell baking systems for a dedicated product, baking systems for baguette or for bagel or for rusk or thin bread. I would call them mono-product lines. And apart from these lines, we have designed a line which is very flexible. So it's multi-product lines with a wide variety of final product, making it possible to bake on different kinds of trays fed by different makeup lines. It's called MECAFLEX. And we are quite successful with this line. And the third part of our supply is obviously services, spare part, obviously, but as well audit, training, upgrades. So it's more or less 3/3 of our supply.
Interesting. So it shows to me that automation is key to what your company does. Why is automation increasing in the baking process in this industry?
Baking industry is fully automatic since a long time. When you see big loaves, production lines baking 10 tons per hour. So automation is an old story in bakery. But what we see now is the final customer is asking for more variety. The trends are changing every month. People want different products from one day to another, which makes it very difficult to make production automatic because you have to deal with different size of products, different capacities. So it was very difficult to make it automatic.
Right.
Nowadays, with robotic, with flexible ovens, with good software, it becomes more and more possible to automatize flexible and variable lines.
I get it. I get it that I've never really looked at it that way because we do have a lot of industrial scale automation here in the US. And I believe that that trend is really going away where, you know, we could run one product for a good solid day without any changeovers. Now we're going to more versatile bakery products like croissants here in the US. Ciabatta is a huge trend that I see. And also a lot of bowls and batards. So, what kind of market trend do you see related to the new market conditions that your consumers are asking for?
Well, I think, again, we are selling all over the world. So it's very difficult to consider a global trend because according to the country or the region, the trend could be different. But still,
That's
still,
correct.
let's take it that way. Everybody, everywhere, will still need affordable, good quality, standard product because it is cheap, it is safe, it is easy to deliver. So I don't see this mass production decreasing because in many countries there is a big need for big industrial footprint, even in America, even in Europe. But apart from these big facilities with high output, we see more and more medium-sized bakeries, more regional, baking a very wide range of products. I would say we call them storytelling products. And everybody tells its own story. I want an organic product. I
Mm-hmm.
want a healthy product. I
Right.
want an ethnic product. I want an attractive product.
Mm-hmm.
And we are all very paradoxal. We are all very complex. And when you are eating something, grabbing something on the go, you don't need the same kind of product as when you receive people at home during weekends. So the demand is very variable. But I still see a big demand for, again, affordable standard product and the polarization with a demand for local, medium-sized variety products. It is what I will see, and it is funny to see what happened during the crisis, and that we could see that the flexible lines could adapt very, very quickly to new demand and were very loaded. So I think this polarization that was existing before the crisis will keep on existing, and maybe in countries where the economy is going to suffer because of a crisis, this polarization is going to increase.
That's true. That is really, really true. And so let me ask you, how as an equipment manufacturer, um, are you facing this COVID situation?
Well, for us, as for many people, this crisis has been a fantastic stress test. Everybody has been shocked. Everybody individually as a human being, everybody as a professional person, as a manager, has been shocked. The processors inside the companies have been shocked. Customers, suppliers. I think it is the worst stress test any company can imagine.
That's true.
And I must say, I must first thank deeply all the people working at MECATHERM for the fantastic reaction. But I would say as well, customers and suppliers, we have seen a fantastic solidarity in this crisis. And I think we feel stronger now than before because we know our strengths. So it has been a very demanding stress, but at the end of the day, we learned a lot.
Right. And what are the precautions are you taking in terms of keeping your employees safe that you can share with others? I mean, obviously, you can't send your salesperson into plants right now because everybody is really protective their of their personnel. So, what are you doing to provide that support to plants who really need your parts or need your technology and need to hear from you?
Well, before talking about the concrete measures, I must say that we are a project-oriented company dealing with the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
That means that we are used to deal with risk. Our technicians in our facilities or in the customer's facilities are used to deal with risk. They are carrying heavy loads, dealing with high voltage, dealing with fantastically powered burners. So they know what risk is. And they are used to work in the food industry, so they know what hygiene is. So they are used to deal with risk, and risk management is a significant part of our business. COVID is one additional risk. But as we have the culture of risk management, our people could define by themselves and between us and with the management the good measures to deal with this risk and to face this risk. For instance, when they were traveling to a site, they were traveling one person by car. It was not possible to send a team in a single car. 4 people, 4 cars. We have to deal with hotels, with restaurants to make sure they could keep separate.
Oh
And
my.
inside the factory and inside the office, it's looking like Fort Knox. I'm correct, Fort Knox?
Yes,
It
Fort
means
Knox. Yes.
every single working place has walls and people complain about it. But I think, and I must congratulate Mark Ville, our managing director, and all managers and all the people who participate to organize the company to deal with this risk. And it
Yeah.
has been a tough job, and I hope it will be a souvenir in some weeks. But people were very committed in organizing themselves, their work, on their working place.
Right, and it's so wonderful to hear that an employer is offering these safety measures for people to actually go back to work, because we know that sometimes teams and offsite and remote work aren't especially the best, without the face-to-face interaction. And I hope some people take this thought into creating a more safe environment for the employers to come back for the employees to come back and for the employees to be in the field to service other people. Obviously, Olivia, you have been in this industry for a while. Let's talk about you and MECATHERM. How long have you been at MECATHERM, or how long have you been in the baking industry?
25 years now.
Wow.
So it's a long time. And I could see the changes in the bakery.
I was
I
just going
could
to
see
ask you, what is the biggest changes you've seen?
well, you see companies that are now 800 million euros or $1 billion, and 20 years ago they were less than 100. So you can imagine the changeover in management, way in organization, in food safety. I mean, the industry changes drastically in these years. It was fascinating. And we were fascinated to participate to this growth, onto these changes. And I hope we were part of it. But definitely, this industry was not so mature 25 years ago, and now reaches the level of modernity that you can see in many other fields. So it has been a fantastic adventure. Not
Right.
finished.
So we're talking about like the mid 90s when you came on. And to me, at that time, industrialization and automation, industrialization was huge, right? Industrialization of automated bread lines was very, very big, late 80s into mid 90s. And then we saw more of a trend towards versatility. So what did MECATHERM do in terms of solutions, software, services to meet this, this drastic change in the global baking industry?
Well, automation, as I said, is in place now since years. What we see now and what we could see with this crisis is, as I mentioned, we have lines installed in 80 countries. And it's in normal times difficult to be close to the customers, even if we developed a network of customer service experts who are traveling everywhere in the world to be close to the customers. Mm-hmm. But we could see that digital solution is a fantastic tool to be close to the customer.
That's true.
So we are working very, very hard on putting a lot of investment in developing digital solutions for many topics and very simple topics. We want to give to people who are working on the work floor the good tools to be able to run the line in the best way. It means obviously training facilities by digital. It means predictive maintenance. It means quality control. And we are developing tools that are fantastically useful dealing with the people on the work floor. I'm not talking to the management. I want to address the people working on our lines with simple digital solutions on iPhone or tablet.
I was just going to ask you, is it mobile or is it all desktop solutions?
Both. Okay. It can be desk or mobile. And we see a great potential of service and improvement for our customers. And we are dedicating a complete team only for this. And the first realization we could make are very, very successful. The idea is to be close to remote customers. The message is very simple. So this will be a revolution.
This is amazing because I believe the first time I'm hearing training coming from an equipment manufacturer like yourself in terms of a digital solution. Why did you guys decide to do that? Why the digital solution? Why not just sell the equipment?
Well, we have to listen to our customers, and wherever we go, we have the same words. People, it's hard for them to find and keep skilled people.
Always.
Skilled people are moving every time. So they have to deal with a big turnover with skilled people. And when a new guy comes and has to run a line, it is compulsory to training very, very fast so he can be efficient. And it's a demand that our customers made to us. So we had to develop solutions for these people that we want to address. I mean, these people are working day after day, night after night with our equipment. They are our real customers.
That's true.
They deserve nice machinery, quiet, clean, safe, easy to run. And we want to talk to these people. We never talk enough to these people. And we heard that they need tools to operate and to be trained. That is why we went that way.
That is really very interesting because I've seen so many equipment in my life being installed without the necessary training to run it. So that really does save the problem of shortening the learning curve and the absolute necessity to get people trained before they touch any buttons. I really love that thought leadership coming from MECATHERM, and I really appreciate you being here today. Like I do with every session I have with Thought Leadership Thursday, Olivier, before we end, what are the top leadership tips you have for running this successful company?
Well, I'm not a professor. I just want to give a side of what we try to do. I'm not saying it's the right way to go, and that you should rather ask the employees what they feel. But basically, again, we are a project-oriented company. It means we need to be very agile. One day is always completely different than the day before and the day after. So we need to be agile. And if you want to be agile, you have to empower everybody in the company. But aside, for them to work in trust and with agility, they need to have very clear rules and very clear objectives. So what I try to do, I don't know if it is successful, is to be very clear on defining the objective, defining the rules, and let people play toward this objective and inside these rules. Not too much control, but guidelines and objective. I hope this is what people would answer as well. At least it's what I try to do.
Hey, Olivia, I interact with your people few times a month, and I see that, right? So I beg to defer that of you being a professor, because they don't teach this in school. They don't teach agility in school, right? So what you're telling me is that this philosophy, this agility is very difficult to do, especially with a company like your size, you know, with so many projects in so many countries. You know, how do you think it goes down from you to the lowest rank in your company? How does that thought of agility, you must be agile, but here's your objective? How does that? Because objectives does not really equate to agility, right? Objectives is one point, and agility is the ability to move. So how do you teach your people to be agile and be objective at the same time? You've done it. You know, I've seen MECATHERM done it. So
first, if they know the guidelines, they are not anxious in acting because they know what they can do, they know what they cannot do. Obviously, agility and empowerment doesn't mean no control. So we have a fantastic IT system which makes it possible to control that we are not derivating. But someone can be agile at work if he knows that first he has a right to make a mistake.
That's true. There's so many people so afraid to make mistakes.
Very important, right to make a mistake. Second, he knows exactly to what extent he can make decisions. This is the second point. And third, we try to have a lot of solidarity inside the company. It means that anybody can call anybody inside the company, including me, if there is any doubt on how we should handle this or this. But I must say as well, because I say me and I shouldn't say me, we have a management team, and we have Marc Ville as a managing director. Maybe you already met him. We have Raymond Nogael, we have Eric Guérin, but Marc is very hands-on. He's managing director of MECATHERM, and he's very, very much involved in developing this agility, developing, empowering people, developing the management skills of everybody. It's a never-ending story, but I think in some years we made a fantastic progress in this way, and I really want to congratulate him for that.
I love it. I think you there just taught a whole class in entrepreneurship at the university level. So please don't ever say again that you're not a professor, because that was just an excellent lesson in leadership.
Thank you very much, Liz.
It goes to show me so many things that I see in successful leadership. It's just finding the right people to be agile enough to meet the objective, you know, and sometimes people don't understand that finding the right people is really tough to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Olivia, thank you so much for coming on today on my Thought Leadership Thursday.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Thank you very much for all what you do and for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.